All right, nerds, how we doing? Welcome. Let me bring the music down. How's everyone doing? We got a new screen for you. I guess before we go to the new screen, let's just go to the full cam first. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to a brand new episode, brand new week. Last week of October. And boy, oh boy, do we have a banger earnings week ahead of us. Lots on store. Mag 7. Is the mic working? Spookytober mic working? Seems to be. Yeah, so lots in store for the stock market for this week. Mag 7 earnings report. You got Google, Meta, Amazon, you name it. Last week you had Tesla, Netflix. So big names on board this week coming up. Lots of opportunities. Every time there's earnings season, there's lots of opportunities. So the goal is to really pick one or two names for the day trade basket, for the swing trade basket, and trade that properly. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about how well can you trade the trade you're in. It's not about how many trades can you catch at the same time, right? There's this hidden myth in the markets like diversity. You want to diversify your portfolio as much as you can because then it won't hurt you. But then you're not making a lot of money like that, right? The best people, what's a Stanley Drucken? He goes, put all your eggs in a basket. The people who didn't tell you, who keep telling you to not put your eggs in the same basket have clearly no clue that you can go out and get more eggs later on, right? So put all your eggs in a basket and make sure that you take really good care of that basket. Make sure no eggs fall out at all. So on that analogy, we got a lot of names on board. But let's not get distracted by a million names. Let's pick a couple names. Let's really analyze them. See how we can trade them on the day trade side, on the swing trade side. Let me also pull up the YouTube chat here because I don't have the YouTube chat open at the moment. There you go. I see Angry Buddha TH is in the house. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend and are ready to make some money. Sadly, my week today on Polymarket is gonna start red because I had an earnings trade on Polymarket. It didn't play out to how I wanted to. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about earnings and a lot in store. But boy, oh boy, I am freezing. This room is so cold right now. It is getting winter, baby. November, we're almost right about to knock on November. October's coming to an end. We got Halloween coming up very soon. What are you guys gonna be for Halloween? Put it in the chat. Let me know what you guys are gonna dress up as for Halloween, or if you're gonna do something with your kids or something. You're gonna dress your kids up. Let me know what you guys are interested in doing. It looked like you jumped the gun on what? I'm not sure what you're talking about. But yeah, let's dive into the market here, and let's take you guys to a new layout that I have been working on over the weekend. This layout will be intended, as you can see, clearly for all things Polymarket. Right down at the bottom, right down over here, all the way across. Where the mouse is down over here too, you can see we got the Polymarket tickers. That's the positions, not my positions, but the hottest movers right now on Polymarket in each little category, from breaking news all the way to technology, even sports betting. Obviously, World Series going on right now. Blue Jays versus Dodgers. They're 1-1. Blue Jays had a monster start, but then not so good second game. Today we got game 3. We'll see if Blue Jays come out on top on game 3. Probably gonna sprinkle a couple dollars over there just to have some skin in the game. Have some skin in the game while we're having fun watching it. But yeah, you guys can see down at the bottom, we got a nice little ticker tape rolling for you guys in the Polymarket world. But also, the screen layout now features a nice little vertical face shot and a vertical content shot. That way it's going to be easier for me to make short form clips, because I struggle right now to make these short form clips, man. With the old layout, my face was too small, and when I'm zooming into my face in the editing format, it doesn't really come out properly, and the content is never really properly laid out. So I have a vertical screen that I usually use for Discord, but for streaming, we will use this vertical screen over here to show the content along with my face, my beautiful little face, the money maker, framed properly, and hopefully we'll be able to make short form content much better, much quicker, and grow the channel like we should have been from the very start. You know, been very lazy on the growing the channel side. Let's see what people are saying in the chat right now. You talked about a trade at 4 p.m. an hour before 4 p.m. Yes, I was saying that trade starts at 4 p.m. Like, what are you talking about? Dodgers, the Cobra, Blue Jays, the Mongoose. Ah, you're saying the Blue Jays are the Mongoose and the Dodgers is the Cobra? Doesn't the Mongoose kill the Cobra? Isn't that a good thing? I mean, I hope the Mongoose kills the Cobra here, because we want the Blue Jays to win. It's their first time in the World Series, and them winning the World Series would be amazing, especially as a Toronto guy, I'm not an MLB guy. You guys have known me previously hate and, you know, talk trash about MLB, but it is actually much better to watch right now with all the rule changes. MLB has gotten a lot better to watch with the shot clock, and is it called a shot clock or a pitch clock or whatever? Yeah, MLB has been gotten a lot better. Oh my god, almost broke a glass there. MLB has gotten a lot better since those rule changes. So I hope Blue Jays win it. Come on, baby. I hope Blue Jays win it. Small red day for me, says Erie. Today I stubbornly held you short against me this morning, despite knowing I should have cut earlier. Let's check out this name. Triple U, quadruple U, you. So pissed at myself for letting my emotions override my thought. Well, sadly, that's the nature of the stock market, my friend. You know, it's just the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Anytime, you know, money comes into play, people get emotional and they start making irrational decisions. That's why there's a saying on our trade floor. I'm no longer with that trade floor, but there was a saying on the trade floor that I used to work at. It's trade the trade. Put the emotions away. It's not easy, right? It's easier said than done. Put the emotions away, trade the trade, look at the variables, always look for reasons to do something. Don't just do something because you know, you got excited. Oh, this trade looks so good, it's running without me, I gotta enter. No, that's FOMO. That's emotional trading. Now ask yourself, how can I enter? Is it within a setup that I know how to trade? If it's within a setup that you know how to trade, then yeah, obviously enter, exit, do whatever you want to do with it. But if it's not, then ask yourself more questions. How can I take this trade or execute better? Is there a reason for me to close this trade for a loss? Is there a reason for me to hold this trade a little bit longer than previously expected? So gotta always keep asking yourself questions. The thing about the stock market, the more you ask questions to yourself, the better you're either going to be when it comes to selecting the trade, and the better you're going to be when it comes to holding a winning trade also, right? So you're going to be, I think someone said this, your job as a day trader or even a swing trader is to talk yourself out of a trade. If you can talk yourself out of trades, then you are one step closer to being profitable, because a lot of people talk themselves into trades. They go, oh, that's a nice looking chart. That's a good looking breakout. Especially on this day over here, when it breaks out, oh, that's a good looking chart, that's a good looking breakout, and then they probably get trapped in this day. But if you ask yourself, hey, maybe, you know, it broke out, but the volume wasn't even greater than the day before. Maybe I need to wait a couple of days and see if volume keeps coming back in, and if buyers start holding above this little breakout area, then maybe I could think about it. And yeah, look at that. That ended up setting up the very next day, and then buyers came in. You were able to drive this from $19 to $27. So always look for reasons to talk yourself out of a trade. If you can, you are one step closer to being profitable. You've become more handsome over the years, Prad. No homo. I'll take that compliment any day, my friend. Thank you, thank you. But we are pretty homeless right now, meaning we don't have a haircut. We need a haircut. The hair's all over the place. We gotta shave the beard a little bit. You know, trim the beard. Beard's trimmed, but probably just gotta get rid of the neck beard. And we do take showers every day, though. That's good. We do take showers every day, so no problem on that side. Okay, top of the news for today. Let me bring in this let me bring in this article here from Shea Buller, who's previously supposedly a scammer. But anyways, that's not the point here. Amazon Robotics pushing to aim to automate 75% of the operations that would replace over 1 million jobs. So today we got a new alert that Amazon is going to replace about 30,000 jobs or so with basically robotics. You know, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, sadly. You know, all of these jobs are very much automatable now. Actually, even at shipping yards, you're seeing these basically robots that look very similar to these blue robots over here. Very, very similar to these blue robots. Ooh, that doesn't look too good. Maybe I could do this. And then that should, there you go. So very, very similar to these blue robots. Instead, they're not as small. They are much, much bigger, and they hold shipping containers. So previously, shipping containers driven by humans at shipping yards are now also being controlled by much similar robotics where zero human intervention is needed. And you can see how less accidents are happening. There's also less chances of mistakes because, you know, a robot doesn't make mistakes. If it does, it's a bug in the code, and they're gonna fix that code. Even picking up heavy items, they're just using suction cups to pick up heavy items. Like, that's now you know, one less fee for a human that Amazon has to pay, because they don't have to pay for, you know, this person's back breaking. If that robot's back breaks, then you just fix the robot's back. You don't have to worry about medical fees about that robot, right? You don't have to worry about paying that robot for break hours. These robots can work non-stop without a break. So all of these things combined, the future is heading this way. Robotics is clearly taking over, and if people are not you know, following some of these robotics trades, for example, RR, a big name in the robotics sector, Rich Tech Robotics, another one. Actually, iRobot today fell to the downside because they said they were previously exploring a sale, but that sale did not go through, or that sale fell out, so they're no longer getting appreciated as they were previously. So a nice little drop on iRobotics, but still a good name to keep an eye out in the robotics sector. Trying to remember if there's other names in here. I do have a watch list full of it. KITT took a big nosedive today. Look at that one. SCRV still up. SYM still up. I think one of my buddies today actually had one of his best days on KITT. Let me quickly go check my chat. Was it KITT? What were the two stocks he said he had a good day on today? Yeah, KITT and RECT. So he shorted KITT and RECT, and he had a monster day on both of these names. RECT was the other one. Look at that. Big pop, but then absolutely got sold off rest of the day. And yikes, pretty ugly moves over here in the small cap world. But these are not what the names we're here for. Mainly, we're here to talk about some of the hot earnings names coming up for the week ahead. So let me go to Polymarket and pull up the earnings calendar. Today we had CFLT and Bed Bath & Beyond reporting earnings. I actually had a short position on CFLT. I lost on that. I lost very, very little. It didn't matter, but I thought CFLT, based on my research, is going to miss on their earnings report, but they ended up beating their earnings report, the adjusted earnings EPS, by 3 cents. They reported 13 cents instead of 10 cents. So buyers came in at the end and they bought bought it up. It was already trading at an 80-90% probability that they're going to beat their earnings report. So looks like traders on Polymarket were right once again. And same with Bed Bath & Beyond. They were predicting about a 56% probability that Bed Bath & Beyond is going to beat their EPS, and they actually did ended up beating their EPS. That's crazy, isn't it? A company that's going bankrupt is managing to beat their earnings per share, and you got a nice little pop over here. That blue line that you're seeing on the chart right now is where the stock is trading in the after hours. So here's a nice little after hour pop up on the position, and a pretty deep pullback after that pop, almost a dollar pullback off that pop over here, and trading at the lower end of the ranges, but still Bed Bath & Beyond possibly something to keep an eye on, because you guys know how the what do you call them, the meme stock traders love trading these names when they pop up, right? The high short float stocks, the meme stocks. Let me quickly go check what is the current short flow for Bed Bath & Beyond. It's actually not that high. Bed Bath & Beyond short float at the moment is only sitting at 7.1%. So Bed Bath & Beyond not sitting at a high short float, but nevertheless, if we do get a pop again tomorrow and we start trading above, I'll say somewhere around 9.30, if we're holding above $9 tomorrow in pre-market and then able to get above this 9.30 area, that will be interesting for a long, because I could see something like this and then blasting off, or even my mouse is acting up again, or even something like this and then we start blasting off to the upside a little bit. Keep in mind though, you know, this is not A, it's not financial advice, and B, this is not a legitimate company anymore. They're basically going bankrupt, so you don't want to be holding this trade for too long. It's basically a hit and run. It's a nail and bail. Take your money as quick as possible and walk away from this trade. That's as simple as it needs to be. You don't gotta try and turn Bed Bath & Beyond into Nvidia. You just gotta quickly capitalize on the earnings move and capitalize on the lack of a better word, the idiots who are gonna come into this trade tomorrow, probably pump it up to $10, $11, and if they do, you take advantage of them. And basically, I want to see buying above $9 tomorrow, holding above 9, and then getting above 9.30. That would be the awesome game plan. What's up, gentlemen? Says Angry Buddha. What up, Angry Buddha? How you doing, brother? You like the new layout? We got a new layout going on over here. Easier layout to clip shorts. Easier layout to clip shorts and make short form content. But look at that. Bed Bath & Beyond. People were expecting with the 50% probability, and they were right. CFLT was expecting an 80% probability that they're going to beat their earnings report, and traders were right one more time. However, it is actually quite strange to me that you know, they expect pretty bullish off of almost every name. It's very rare to see people pricing in on the negative side. You can see MicroStrategy is actually only being priced in at a 31% probability. That's reporting Thursday after hours. But Apple, Amazon, Roku, Reddit, Meta, Microsoft, Google are all sitting above, what, 70%? Google's the only one that's below 80. Everything else is sitting at 70% in the mega cap. So people really think they're gonna beat their earnings report with the current state of the market. I mean, look at where QQQ is. QQQ is basically at a new all-time high right now. S&P 500 also blasting off to the north side. Can't stop, won't stop. You had a little bit of a scare on the market here. A dip into the 50-day moving average, and then a run right back to the all-time high. I know Angry Buddha's portfolio is right now right back into all-time high as well. So lots of people enjoying the rallies on the market and having fun watching their positions taking off. Here's Apple, nice little breakout back through all-time high. Amazon struggling a little bit. You know, they recently pulled back to the 200-day moving average, but holding off fairly well. well, it is very surprising to see that Apple is actually breaking out days before its earnings report. Usually names don't do that. They kind of take a breather, they cool their engines before the earnings report. But here's maybe the market knows something. Maybe people know that these stocks are going to report and actually report on the good side, and hence they want to position themselves for it. You're already seeing that take place on Polymarket. This is now an alpha in itself. We're seeing very rarely do Polymarket traders actually get their information wrong. There is I forget where to find that, but there is a graphic, an infographic that talks about how accurate Polymarket traders are in terms of predicting the future, and they're somewhere in the percentile of 75 to 95% of the times they get their bets correct and their predictions correct. Also, I think that's a little bit skewed, but we're not going to talk about that right now. The point is, this is good alpha. Sadly, not enough money is being bet on these markets just yet. There's not enough liquidity on these markets just yet. PayPal with $13,000, $14,000, that's USD. So 14,000 USD is actually not bad. And you can see over here, the book is pretty thick. That's not a bad book. You got 81 cents, 84 cents. You got hundreds of dollars sitting on either side of the book, thousands of dollars sitting over here. But then the book basically evaporates under 60 cents. There's no buyers below 60 cents. And it kind of dies out going into the 99 too. Pretty interesting. Also probably because the market is currently rewarding you free money for market making. This is also a very good topic about Polymarket. Polymarket currently has a big issue in terms of liquidity, right? I was just talking about how liquidity over here is a problem. So they now offer you, if you want to provide liquidity without taking fills, you can make a percentage of the reward. So the reward for this market is 5 USD. You can basically put an order at 85 cents and then put an order at 80 cents. You're not the best bid. You're not the best offer. You're the second best bid and the second best offer. And by doing so, you will be eligible to farm rewards as long as you're providing minimum shares on both sides. So 100 shares here, 100 shares here. And just by sitting on the book, you will be able to collect rewards and farm rewards and make free money. They're offering you tons of money every single day for providing liquidity. You can see over here how many markets they're providing rewards to. Some markets are offering you $200 and they're not that competitive. Mild competition, meaning you can come in and throw in some orders and try to be a bigger participant of the liquidity, meaning you get a bigger percentage of the reward and basically make free money without actually having to trade every day. So there's so many opportunities out there on Polymarket that people really need to start exploring these things. It is free money, in my opinion, that you got to take advantage of. Now, besides earnings, which we already are talking about, there is a new market called mentions market. I guess maybe not new because some of you already know about it, but there's a market called mentions market. I'm just trying to find my way to it. There's a market called mentions market. This is basically you are going to be placing bets on what will, for example, Trump say during his visit to Japan. What will Powell say during the Fed conference? Here's actually a great example. Let's go to the Fed Powell one. You guys know how often Fed Powell says good afternoon during his interest rate decision FOMC days. Every single time. There hasn't been a single time where he hasn't said good afternoon. And you can see how the market's pricing that in. You have $68,000 traded on that one market alone, whereas every other market hasn't really traded that big amount of money, right? You have 2,000, 27,000, 3,000, 4,000. Out of the $220,000 on the whole market, $68,000 was traded on good afternoon alone, and people are pricing that in at a 97% probability that you are going to say good afternoon. Now imagine he comes out for once and doesn't say good afternoon. I don't think we're gonna get that this Wednesday, or is it Wednesday? Usually FOMC is Wednesday. 29th, yes, Wednesday. So usually we will never see a chance where good afternoon is not said, but imagine he doesn't, and you have a chance to snipe this at 3 cents a share. He comes out, he doesn't say good afternoon, you're gonna see people dumping their positions instantly, and you're gonna see people buying every single dollar they can of the no side. So opportunities like this are gonna be setting up, especially in earnings calls. So this is something that I want to specialize in. You guys know me, I'm the stock market guy. We've been trading stocks for years now, 5+ years now. So this is something I want to specialize in because I have never really listened to conference calls. So why would that make me a specialist in that? Not really a specialist, but I mean more in the sense of, you know, because we know a little bit better understanding when it comes to stock market and trading the stock market. I think diving into these conference calls and exactly what words can be said and won't be said in these conference calls will help me directly learn more about these companies, learn more about conference calls. Like I said, I never really cared about sitting down and listening to a conference call of any company before, but now I might have an incentive to do that, right? I have an incentive to sit down and listen to these conference calls so I can live trade them, and also sit down and listen to the conference calls, which will help me now make better decisions for swing trading, for day trading. So in return, Polymarket is making me a better swing trader, is making me a better informed stock market participant, and at the same time, it's allowing me to make money. Isn't that great? Isn't that something that you want to be able to do? Learn new things and make money while you're doing that. So I'm so excited to dive into this. For example, tomorrow we have a conference call from EA Sports. It's in the game. But look at this. Here's pretty surprising. Why is every single word on EA Sports conference call at a 95 probability that it won't be said? You might be wondering why. The answer to that is because they already announced, due to them being acquired on I think September or so, they were going to get acquired in September, or the news came out that they were going to get acquired in September. That news, along with that, they said they're not going to be having the conference call. So had you known that information before everybody else, as soon as this market came out, you would have been able to basically buy no on every single pop, because some people were buying yes. They thought, you know, competition has a very high chance to be said. Skate, which is a recent game, has a very high chance to be used in the conference call. So people were buying up all of these positions thinking that they were going to make a lot of money because they are selling, what, 7 cents on the dollar. But realistically, that's not the truth. They're not going to have a conference call, and hence the savvy people, the smarter people, were buying no every single opportunity they can. And this is basically a predetermined market, right? Predetermined market. Sometimes having that information before everybody else. I knew EA was gonna get acquired because I trade stock markets every single day like you guys, right? I knew EA was gonna get acquired, so I kind of knew that they're not gonna have a conference call. So had I known that information, that they had the earnings call for this, earnings call market for this, I would have been able to buy up the note at much cheaper prices, but I'm not interested to buy this at 96 cents and 98 cents. It's just a little too expensive. I'll just buy them tomorrow. Also, this market will not resolve until December or March. Yeah, December of 2025, because you know, if they don't have a conference call tomorrow, they're gonna wait till December 31st if they have a conference call, and if they do, then they will resolve it, which I don't think they will. So your money is going to be tied up in this market for a long time, and I don't want to be buying for a 2% gain in the time span of a month and a half. It's just not something that's too exciting for me, so I'm just gonna pass on this. But we're gonna have a lot more opportunities regardless of this one. We're gonna have 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names over here to dive into. So we're gonna do a quick little example over here. For example, Starbucks. Are they gonna talk about protein? People are saying 89% probability yes. These are actually fairly high numbers already. Looks like some, actually, you know what, this is probably very illiquid and spready. Not a lot of money has actually been coming into this market yet. You can see how $0, 15, 0, 47, very illiquid market. I'm guessing it's very spready. Look at that, 50 cents and 94 cents. Illiquid market, which means I might have an opportunity to slip in a bid somewhere and see if I can catch a fill somewhere at 50, 60, in case these words actually have a good enough of a probability of being said. Now, pumpkin spice trading at 40 cents on the bid and 90 cents on the ask. What season are we in, ladies and gentlemen? We are in the spooky season. What drink does Starbucks announce during spooky season? Pumpkin spice latte. What you know, every little Instagram influencer out there is gonna want to go get a pumpkin spice latte and post it on their TikToks and their social media about how they're so cool and special that they got one from Starbucks before everybody else. So for sure we're gonna probably hear this word pumpkin spice latte. Now that's just me using my little brain and thinking a little bit, but what if we take that a little bit further and do some research on this using our good friends at Perplexity Finance? Let's head over to Starbucks, SBUX, Starbucks. Click on their most recent earnings transcript. Let's go to their most recent earnings transcript. Click Control F, which is basically find on this webpage. Pumpkin. I don't see pumpkin anywhere over here. What if we were able to, oh, I don't think we'll be able to go all the way to Q3 of 2025, will I? I don't think I'll be able to go to Q3 of 2025 through Perplexity Finance, but most likely if you were to go to their website and find the transcript from that day, you might be able to find the pumpkin spice word in the Q3 2024, which should be around the same time, October or so. But you guys get the idea over there. Instead of pumpkin spice, let's actually try to use a different word. Use union. Okay, let's see if they used the word union before. They have not used the union before in this transcript. How about in this one? Not in this one, not in this one, not in this one either, not in this one either. So we just went back like 4 transcripts and we weren't able to find them use the word union a single time. And you can see how the market's pricing that in already. They're saying, hey, 16% chance that this word will be said. Interesting. Peppermint sounds like a word that could be said, right? But we couldn't find... Huh, looks like they don't use peppermint either. That's pretty odd. I thought, you know, maybe they would use the word peppermint. Okay, so I guess that one's also worth buying a no. Most of these words at this point sound like they're not gonna say it. Canada, are they gonna use the word Canada? Let's check it out. Yeah, I'm not sure they would use Canada. They would use North America, and they would use China, and they would use Europe or international. I don't know why they would use, would they say US and Canada? Because I'm not seeing it on my search over here. Let's type in China. Like, China shows up a million times. You can type in China in the transcript, and that is, you know, 13 times said it in their last transcript. And the previous one before that, they said it 10 times over here. And the one before that, they said it 4 times. So you can see how China is actually a word that they have said a lot before. But Canada, I don't remember them saying Canada ever, and realistically, no company ever uses Canada in their earnings report. They say North America. They combine America and like here. Let me type in North America and look at that. North America and Canada. Ooh, there we go. So why did you not highlight Canada earlier? There you go. So Canada was said 5 times. The team in Canada. Why was this not picked up when I was searching earlier? Huh? That's shady. Okay, Canada was said over here. Canada was said over here also, maybe. I'm not seeing it over here, but okay. Huh. There you go. So Canada is mentioned quite a bit. We actually just set up Toronto with the team. What team? Raptors? Okay. So it looks like Canada might be actually a pretty used word. So 60% maybe a little expensive. If we can get it somewhere below 60, 55 maybe. I'm just being stingy at this point. 60 is not that bad because you get to make 40% return on your investment over here. So Canada might be a word that's actually said maybe worth buying around 60. Comparable sales. This is a very used word in almost every single retail company. Why? Because they're comparing sales with other stores. How did this company, how did this singles unit store do compared to the previous year in terms of sales? Are they growing? Are they declining? Comparable sales is a very, very common word used in conference calls and earnings reports during earnings season. So that is I think 74% is accurate. So buying it somewhere at 59, 60 doesn't make doesn't sound too stupid, okay? Oh, you think about it. Even buying at 88 doesn't sound too stupid. If you saw free 12% return on the ground, would you not take it? If you were just walking by and whatever 12% of money for you is relatively good enough for you, right? For some people 12 cents if you're homeless, for some people $12, if for some people $12,000, whatever your 12% is, that would make you look around and be like, oh wait, I just saw something over there I need to go pick up. If that is not good enough for you, then obviously you walk away from it. But according to the research and according to information that I know looking at earnings reports, comparable store sales is a very used word. So 12% return is not good enough for you. Maybe I would buy some over here at 88 and have that move up and maybe even bid on the lower prices to see if you can catch some fills. Sadly, not enough volume trading yet over here, probably because people are still waiting for their money in the EA one to resolve. You also have a big mention market over here, which is trading at 200,000 volume. That's what is it? That is the interest rate decision that's coming up. So some money will start flowing into these conference calls and the options over here. We will be doing more research about these going into the day before. So tomorrow, today is the 27th. Tomorrow will be the 28th. We'll do a research run about these words and what words to possibly place orders on and not place orders on. And then we will also send out tweets and all that information. I'm gonna have to also make short form clips and videos about these so we can start growing the channel over there. So guys, lots of opportunities, right? Stock market is not just on the stock market these days. It's also on prediction markets. You can directly now go ahead and predict whether, for example, already you can pick if Nvidia is going to be trading above yet today's close or below today's close tomorrow right now. So you can go put down your predictions, or you can trade this market live tomorrow when the QQQ opens up and the S&P 500 opens up again, and so on. So people are already making some predictions. They're saying Google most likely trades down because it had a big update today. Amazon probably trades up apparently. Apple, I would think that most likely has a red day tomorrow, compared to today's close. Maybe not full red day, but a little bit of a red day. Actually, that would be a red day. But you guys understand what I'm saying. You know, opportunities over here are dime a dozen. Just got to start watching them. Start looking at the markets. Earnings, live trading. SoFi currently expected tomorrow with the 87% probability. $58,000 being put down on this market right now. Let's go quickly check out some of the top holders. BlackRock currently down $2,000 after trading $108,000 volume. Traded a lot of volume. At one point, this account was green, and now they're red. BlackRock currently predicting with 4,000 shares that SoFi will not beat their earnings report. Hey, man, I'm a big SoFi lover, and let me tell you what, you do not want to bet against SoFi right now. SoFi is looking great. They're about to most likely break their all-time high and continue their trajectory to the north side. It's actually a good name to keep an eye out for the swing and the day trade over here tomorrow as they report earnings. Let me quickly zoom in a little bit. Any move above $30.30, you want to be interested in that, because now we're not only breaking all-time high, we're also breaking a nice little flag over here, a nice sideways action for a couple weeks or so. Let me go to a better chart which has some of my indicators. Here's the chart. Let's go to SoFi. Where is the 50-day moving average? Look at that. Held the 50-day moving average, which is the green indicator that right here that you're looking at. Also held the dotted VWAP line. That is the previous earnings VWAP. Not once has the stock closed below its earnings VWAP after reported earnings on this day, 29th of July. Hey, very close to my birthday. 29th of July, gapped up, and not once did it properly close below that VWAP, and ever since stayed above it. Anchored VWAPs are an awesome tool I love using. Check it out. Shout out to your boy Alpha Trends, Brian Shannon. He wrote an awesome book about it. So held that anchored VWAP, held the 50-day moving average, going into the earnings tomorrow, most likely beating the EPS. According to Polymarket, at least they are expecting 80% probability right now, 86% probability that they're going to beat their earnings. And if that's the case, hey, maybe some opportunity to buy some options tomorrow, maybe some options to buy some shares tomorrow and ride up SoFi to the north side. Lots of names tomorrow reporting earnings, so keep an eye on the earnings calendar. PayPal pre-market, UPS pre-market, JetBlue, I don't really care about that one as much, but these two are pretty important. I think PayPal had a pop today. PayPal had a pop or a drop. Looks like they actually dropped after the pop. Nothing too interesting over here, but PayPal very close to the 200-day moving average. I was very excited about PayPal over here. They had some Google news in this area that they're going to partner with Google to create the framework of payments automation, the payment agent system. That's going to be worked on. And then tomorrow earnings report, let's see if we get back above the 200-day moving average on PayPal. Currently expected 83% probability over there too. RCL, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, another good name to keep a watch for, but a pretty expensive name. UPS has been struggling quite a bit. The YouTube show that it's not a YouTube show. The Thursday live hosting that I do for Stock Trader Network, in that chat room, someone mentioned that they are a UPS driver and that apparently UPS is going to be cutting their dividends tomorrow after the earnings report. So not something that you want to be hearing if you're a UPS shareholder. And why would a company be cutting their dividends? Probably because they're not doing too hot. Amazon's coming in and disrupting their business, taking away, and now Amazon's basically creating a better profit margin for themselves by hiring robots and not having humans come in, right? So UPS kind of getting a beating over there, I guess. will be worth watching. UPS actually has a very good chart at the moment, 89.50. If we start holding above 89.50 tomorrow, I think you got to keep an eye out on UPS without a doubt for some sort of a long opportunity back into the $100 area, which is exactly where the 200-day moving average is. But if UPS reports negative, I think you're watching it go right back into this range low of $81 or $82, and then probably breaking below 82 would be something to keep an eye on. However, market's breaking all-time high. Expecting anything to happen below here is ridiculous, right? You don't if market was on a bearish trend, I think expecting a big move down would be amazing, but market's literally breaking all-time high. So most likely we see some buying around 82 tomorrow, maybe some longs if we do drop down there. But boy, oh boy, I hope I'm wrong, because if 82 breaks, I'm excited to short the crap out of this name, okay? So get ready for that one. Tomorrow pre-market, we got some good names out there. Already some good names in the after hours like Bed Bath & Beyond, Confluent Technology, CFLT, which popped up to the north side. Let me go to a better chart that doesn't have too many drawings. CFLT popped to the most recent range high, and getting above that range high will be very interesting. So 24 plus on CFLT you want to be involved in. If it's holding 24 cleanly, I think CFLT has a good move up. They reported earnings, they beat their EPS, at least the non-GAAP. I can't remember the GAAP EPS. Do your own research on that one. Tomorrow after hours, EA, so make sure you tune in. However, EA is getting bought out, so not really a big trade over there. EA should be getting bought out at $210. They're currently trading right now at $200. Wednesday pre-market, Boeing, Garmin, Caterpillar, Etsy, some good names over there. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Make sure you tune in at 4:30. And obviously Google, Microsoft, Meta, Teladoc, Carvana, Chipotle, Starbucks, eBay. We're going to probably also trade the Starbucks conference call live on stream, so that's probably at 5 o'clock or 4:30. Some of these conference calls that are trading on Polymarket, we're gonna try and trade them live on stream for you guys, which will be exciting, so make sure you tune into those streams. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically all she wrote. Yeah, you have some hot movers across the board, such as Amazon, Apple. It'll be interesting to see how Amazon reacts to the cutting news, the axing of employees news. However, Apple, that's a nice breakout, right? Breakout, pullback, consolidation for a couple of days, and then a continuation on that breakout through all-time high. Is Apple now literally competing for the second largest again? 3.9 trillion. Where is Microsoft? 3.95. Okay. Where's Nvidia? 4.65. Nvidia is actually not doing too bad right now, huh? So Apple is actually competing for second largest again, and that probably means, oh, look at that. Huh. Am I tripping? I think Apple has a very high chance of you know what, chat? Hold up. I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some right now. Where's my goddamn chart? Yes, please. What? Will Apple be the second most valuable company on October 31st? I think so. Yes. I think so. Will Nvidia or Microsoft be? No. I don't think so. And even if I'm wrong, I believe I will be able to trade this out in itself. And actually, I'm hedged right now in a way where I make money no matter what. For example, my average price is 48 cents. My average price is 50 cents. Combined together, that's less than $1. So now no matter what happens, let it be. Fuck, I want to fill at 45. Can I get a fill at 45, please? Now, no matter what happens, I'm technically hedged on my position here. And then I will be able to sell it for a trade later on. Do I want it at 45? Fuck it. I'm just going to buy 48 because I am perfectly hedging myself just by doing this. It's either Microsoft or Nvidia, or sorry, it's either Microsoft or Apple is going to be the second largest. Apple today breaking into an all-time high, took it at 3.9599 trillion. Microsoft is at 3.95 trillion and kind of struggling. I think if the market keeps going, Apple has a good chance to be the second largest company by October 31st. In fact, it is already. But on October 31st, will it be the second largest? Honestly, I don't care anymore if it is or not because I am perfectly hedging myself here to the point where if Microsoft wins, I win $10. And if Apple wins, I win $10. And I make money either way. Actually, no, this is not hedging. I'm actually buying the same bet twice. Had I had Microsoft at 50, that would be a hedge. If I bought Microsoft 50, that would be a hedge. I'm actually buying the same bet here twice. I'm trying to capitalize on a move down on Microsoft and a move up on Apple here to see if I could capitalize on that. So let's see if we can do it. I'm okay with the money that I just deployed on this. Let's see if we're able to capitalize on that quickly. But that is another example right there, ladies and gentlemen, of how you can potentially look for some trades. Right now, you can see how Microsoft is still trading higher. That's because people think, no, this is not the same line. Where is October 31st? There you go. There you go. This is the market we want. Close. It's very, very close. Very, very close. So we'll see if it plays out in our favor. Nice little trade over there. Not a hedge. Not a hedge at all. We actually bought the same position in two different ways. But that's because we can trade out of both of them. If Microsoft goes down, then the no goes higher. We can sell the no for a quick scalp. And then we can hold on to Apple. And if Apple starts to lose its value, we can quickly close out of Apple too. That's the idea over there. Second largest company by end of October. Nice little opportunity we just found there by looking at the overall market caps on both of these companies. But as we were talking, you know, the trade idea is fairly simple. Just continue looking for dip buys on Apple. If Apple's VWAP today, if Apple's midpoint today, if Apple's VWAP today shows you some buying, there's some opportunities for you to ride that bad boy to the upside. Any other hot movers? Qualcomm. Can't forget Qualcomm. Qualcomm had a big day today. From 172 to 205, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about this breakout somewhere up here, if I remember correctly. And then it never really gave us that trade. But today, it gave you that trade off of the news catalyst that they're going to be having AI competing chips, competing with Nvidia, competing with AMD. So obviously good news over there for Qualcomm. Almost 100 million shares traded on the day. Let me see if there's any other names that I'm forgetting to bring up. Lululemon. Lululemon gained 3% after it said it's partnering with the NFL and the Fanatics to launch an apparel collection for the NFL. That's not a bad news at all, but I don't think it's a news catalyst that's going to revolutionize this company at the moment. Not too interesting. Gold took a beating again. GLD's on a generational pullback at the moment. So AEM, Barrick Gold, B, they are all good trades to continue keeping an eye out for. Dr. Pepper, Harley Davidson, DoorDash. What happened to Dash? DoorDash apparently went up by 2.9% after Goldman reinstated. I don't see anything there. Beyond Meat, the stock that went crazy recently, completely slammed back down. And this is why I try to warn you guys to be careful. Don't FOMO into a position on crazy run-ups like this, right? Be careful because you can get easily trapped on this. This is something that I try to warn my dad quite a bit. The White House was pumping GME last night, which was very funny. I found that hilarious. GME made a move up based off of those little White House Twitter posts that made GME pump up, but absolute destruction after that move over there on GME. We talked about Qualcomm. Snowflake, I don't think that one's too interesting right now. That's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. So a little recap on the earnings names. Let me quickly let me just bring this one over here. Earnings names tomorrow. Wait, let's go to here. Earnings names this week. We got a lots on board, as you guys can see. All the way from Dr. Pepper today, to Waste Management after hours, Bed Bath & Beyond after hours, Whirlpool. Waste Management is actually a good name to keep an eye on usually. Let's take a look at Waste Management. WM, where did you guys move? Ooh, Waste Management got destroyed, dropped down to $208 after missing their EPS. Actually dropped even more than that. Capitulated of some action, I guess you could say capitulated right around 200, 198 area, bounced right back after that. So interesting action here on Waste Management, possibly worth keeping an eye on tomorrow. Add that to your watch list along with NXPI, SoFi, United Health Group, UNH is, well, you can't forget UNH, boy. Good recovery on UNH from these lows, so we'll see if UNH earnings tomorrow will be something to keep an eye out for. Corning, that's a glassware company that creates glass for your phones. Wayfair, UPS, lots of good names out there, ladies and gentlemen. We love earnings season. Do you not love earnings season? I sure do love earnings season. There's so many names, everything's moving, but remember what I said at the start of the show. This is not Pokemon. You're not playing catch 'em all, okay? You're not playing catch 'em all. This is not Pokemon. Pick one or two names to day trade, to swing trade, and trade them well. Trade them properly. Ask yourself multiple questions. Talk yourself out of the trade. And then if you can't talk yourself out of the trade because the trade's just so goddamn juicy, then get into it. Quick little recap to my account. What the hell happened? Oh yeah, I just got into a position, like $10 worth of positions. I forgot. Quick little recap to my account. I got beat up. As you guys remember, I was up $80 on this account. $80 profit that was. And now we're sitting at a $25 profit. We got absolutely slammed. I'll show you why right now. Oopsie daisy, come here. Predict folio, go to Praddy. So we were at the high of 76, 80-ish dollars profit, but then one mistake where I lost 30 bucks. I bought the wrong side of the market, so I lost 30 bucks there. And then I made another big mistake where I lost 17 bucks on an earnings report. With these poly market bets, guys, you guys really need to make sure that you're reading the rules. The rules are very important because sometimes they will be looking at the general accounting accepted practices. Here, look at this. For example, sometimes they will be looking at the GAAP, the general accepted, the adjusted, the non-adjusted, right? The GAAP. So sometimes they'll be looking at this, but at other times they'll be looking at, where is it? Sometimes they'll be looking at the GAAP, but other times they'll be looking at the non-GAAP. So I got the two things confused at one trade, and then that got me beat up, and I lost another 17 bucks there. I think it was this one over here or this one over here. Anyways, we are bleeding on this account right now. I need to start learning how to farm rewards. I talked about farming rewards a little bit earlier with you guys. I need to dive deeper into it, learn more about farming rewards, getting better at that side. But we're surviving. We're still in the green. The account's still growing. And you know, we lost a little bit over here on the CFLT short. We were actually betting that they're not going to beat their EPS. They ended up beating it by 3 pennies. But yeah, we'll be watching tomorrow pre-market to see if I'll be able to trade any of these. There's also lots of other markets coming out. There's intraday finance markets, there's politic markets, there's election markets going on right now that you for sure don't want to miss out on. So poly market, ladies and gentlemen, start doing your homework, because this is an opportunity that you don't want to miss out on. They're going live very soon in America. I just hope that they don't ban my account, because I'm not supposed to be trading on this platform. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time tomorrow. It's 5:30. We had a good hour so far. I'm gonna see if I need to go film some short content, or maybe I could probably cut up the stream into short content. We'll see. There may be something to do over there. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Go make some money. Lots of movers out there in the market right now. Go make some money, and shout out to everyone whose account's flying up to the north side. I'm talking to you, Angry Buddha. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out my affiliate links in the description below. If you are trying to join Poly Market, make sure you click my link over here, along with other actual tools that I use to day trade with: Edge to Trade, Traders Insight, Finviz, TraderSync, Benzinga Pro. All amazing tools. Without those, I will not be able to survive in the market, and I wish you guys go check them out. Catch you guys next time. TraderPrad out. Peace.